large language model. She is a passionate writer. She has won top competitions and loves exploring new challenges. Beyond her work, she enjoys painting and is a reader drawn to fiction and fantasy. She has also been trained in Bharatanatyam for 6 years, blending her love for dance and music. With a creative mind and technical expertise, she is always eager to learn, innovate, and grow. Let's welcome Toastmaster Manasi Kelare to join in the panel. More than 30 years as a India head of 3 years, a true leadership powerhouse. Yes, held tops to the district governor, consistently excelling and earning top honors as corporate trainer and economist with a global footprint, having visited 730 cities across 69 countries on every continent while training in 33 countries. He is fluent in dozen languages. He thrives on cultural exchange. In case if you have any session related here, he's a bona fide, I mean to say. His passions include as he is ready to welcome this for the interview.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, and our very beloved interviewee, distinguished Toastmaster Prasad sir.
Good evening. Good evening. What is happening today? Okay, guys. The balloons will keep bursting.
So today we celebrate 18 years since the first meeting of Toastmasters Club of Pune was held, and we're here with the person who made it all happen. A very hearty congratulations to you, sir, and to all the members for reaching this wonderful milestone. It must be deeply rewarding to see something you planted grow and flourish and impact so many lives nearly over 2 decades. To begin with, could you take us back to that?
I joined Toastmasters when I was working there from 1993 to 1999. I was in maths, I was good in languages, good in written communication, but was not good in oral communication. When it comes to a banner, and I just saw the number, noted down, went in for the next meeting, and that was 15 November, and I joined the club straight away. And that helped me immensely. I grew there as a leader, my club grew there, and that was also another odyssey for me, where I could lead that club to world ranking number 5. In those days, all the clubs were ranked, and there were 8,000 clubs, and my club was ranked number 5 when I was the president. So it was the first time so many people there also credit me for that Singapore, because of the initiative that I took and that changed everything for them. I said it's easily possible to have 100 clubs there. And when people were thinking of 30, 40, I gave them a number 100. Today there are 200 clubs in Singapore alone, one city. That is the largest in the world today. And when I repatriated, I started to move in here because I had benefited so much, so I wanted to give back to the movement by creating clubs in my city. And that is how we began the process of formulating a club in Pune. I started the first club in TCS in 2004-05, and subsequently we needed a community club where all individuals can join. There were corporate clubs created in between at Infosys and Eaton and few other companies. So we started the process of community club, which is open for all. And the first meeting was held on the day of Ganesh Chaturthi in 2007, which was 15 September that year at Ferguson College. And I just reached out to about 1,200 people on email and about 120 phone calls. There was no WhatsApp that time. Internet was not used so much as it is used today. There were no smartphones, so we had to reach out via either email or phone calls, physical phone calls. And from that, we gathered about 30 interested people for the first meeting, which was held in Department of Maths, Ferguson College. And then it just took off from like that, and we went on conducting meetings in a systematic, structured manner, and today it is this status of the club.
That is incredibly commendable, sir. So when you decided to start the Toastmasters Club, what motivated you? What was the one thing about Toastmasters? Was it public speaking, confidence building, leadership, something else that drew you to carry on that legacy from Singapore to?
So I believe Indians lack in public speaking in general. We have very good talent in maths, we are very good in languages, but somehow we are not able to sell the ideas so well the way some other countries are. So Indians needed to learn marketing in this manner, for which public speaking was one aspect, oratory. So I thought, let's start this activity here so that we groom a lot of people to speak in public. And many of these communicators will go on to work in, let's say, advertising, in PR, in companies as salesmen, as CEOs of companies, and then they will communicate better for our country. So that was the motive for starting the club in Pune.
So you said like you approached more than 1,000 people via email and phone calls and all, and then there were 30 people who joined on that first day, right? So what is the scenario now? Like, I mean, if I look at it, the attitude and having this more inclined towards coming to such initiatives, or what do you think in general how people's attitude towards public speaking and these skills has changed over the years?
Okay, so that time when I was looking for options for myself, way back in before going to Singapore, I couldn't find any option that time of learning public speaking. Today there must be more than those. There must be other options which teach public speaking as well. So options have increased and the population has increased multifold, and I believe today's youth is inclined towards learning this, and Gen Z particularly loves this concept where they can go and learn something and have a nice time with other people of similar interests. Toastmasters is one place where people with same interests bond together, all are positive thinkers, so it is a good platform for anyone who wants to make good friendship with similar minded people. So this will grow definitely.
And have you in this 18 years, right? You have seen many people, their journeys and all, right? So any major transformations that you can recall, or any instance in that sense you want to share with us?
Oh, several. There are several cases of transformation. I'll just give the best example of somebody who has really peaked the scale. We had a member who went on. First he was a member of our club, then he went on to become president of another club. Then he went to Gujarat where he had his roots and he started one veg restaurant in 2013. And today he has 250 restaurants. He's a billionaire today. That is Jaideep Solanki, and he can attribute this leadership skill that he acquired to Toastmasters. So that is just the extreme example of somebody. It wasn't that he was very novice. He was already a good marketer, but he learned even more in Toastmasters and scaled the heights where he is a billionaire today. But there are several others. Chandana Irende was one member who was very shy, timid, a lady in her 30s at that time and very nervous, somebody who was not confident at that time. Today she's so confident that she teaches maths at M. Prakash Institute today, M. Prakash Academy. And she became a member here, then president, then area governor, then division governor. So she also grew over 4 or 5 years that we saw. Even within our club, we have Ravi who joined. And you can see the transformation in him. Maybe if somebody had recorded his first speech and today's speech, that could be a transformation. So we should all record the first speech of everyone and keep it in our treasury somewhere, treasure to forward. Joined our club 2 years back. Today, so said that he studied in Marathi medium and people didn't believe it. Won't believe it today because he speaks in such a nice manner, and he worked in Sweden where he also won speech contests in English over there, and We started leadership by reading the first Marathi club in Pune. So there are several people who have grown here in tremendously. Nagappan San, member for 12 years now, and look at the journey. Who would have believed that this person who doesn't speak Marathi at all or Hindi at all can win a contest by giving a speech about Hindi? Humorous speech contest. Okay, so that is the kind of transformation we have seen in everyone, and it really is a delight.
My impression is like Toastmasters communication skills, right? My understanding is even many people think that Toastmaster is most about communication skills. The leadership aspect, right? Leadership skills aspect is probably not known to many people. So would you like to share something like how Toastmasters help shape the leadership aspects in individuals? Because there are guests, there are people who will be watching, so it will be very well known.
Although our organization likes to have a tagline Toastmasters where leaders are made, our market, as we can say, the people who join our club, they come here for oratory, they come here to learn public speaking, they come here to learn communication skills. That is very simple. You learn and you are part of an ecosystem people you work together with, and there is planning for your meeting to be done, and you see somebody doing that job selflessly. You also want to help. For example, today's meeting is planned by Shruti Ganorkar. So if you observed her working in the last week or so, you would say, hey, this girl is doing such a nice job. Maybe next time I can do this. And you want to help in planning, in organizing events. Maybe area contest, maybe division contest, maybe club meeting, maybe club's anniversary. And then you realize, hey, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And at each step you get success. Even if they tell you as a friend where things went wrong and where it can be. Plus, there are others in the group who will warn you even before failure. So there is a safe place to learn. In your company, probably you can't make mistakes because one wrong call with a customer means loss of revenue for you. Here, there is no loss of any sort. So people take freedom in making mistakes and learning from those, and they grow in that process. That's how we create leaders. That's why Toastmasters thought of this tagline, Toastmasters where leaders are made.
Now let's take a step back, sir, and look at PNCP 18 years and how it is today. What are the differences that you've seen, the PR activities then and the PR activities now? And
So,
the club leaders, how were they made? Could you say?
yeah, sure. So, in those days, there was no emphasis on PR. So, whatever PR we did was through, there was no social media as well that time. We did not, many of us were not part, though Facebook must have started in 2007 or earlier, but I personally joined it, I think, in 2009 or 10, not before that. And many users whom I invited to our meetings were not part of any social media at that time. People didn't have smartphones in those days. I had a Nokia 3310 at that time, okay, which was sufficient. Yeah, it was sufficient for. We had a landline at home and even in offices we had landline. There was no PR the way you perceive it today. But we got an article written in Sakar on the day of our installation, and that faced a lot of calls which came our way. And even other news heard us quite well. Times and page. Twice or thrice. So we had a lot of PR of this sort, though not the current PR that you guys know about. But today things have moved more to digital PR only. But I think we should go back to the time where we can write to people some letters. Today nobody writes, so it will be unique. That somebody is writing in this manner, it will be considered unique and they might be attracted to it because of that. It takes efforts, but it can be managed. Leadership, yes, we have evolved as leaders over the years. That the software that we have, whereas we used to have each day what we call every member. So there were 30, 40 members, sometimes 80 members. So a Toastmaster would call each one of them on phone and check what they are doing for this week, next week, and so on. And then no social media and most of the softwares are not available. Then people wonder, how did you do that? But that's how things were.
So, were there any significant hurdles that you faced while bringing this club up from the first club meeting to here?
So first club meeting to charter, that was a bigger hurdle, I would say, because and collect the payment and send. That time the amount was 3,000 rupees, 1,200 for joining and 1,800 for 6 months membership fee. At 300 with the dollar to rupee rate was 45, so about 200 rupees there and 100 rupees for the club expenses. So even 3,000 rupees members. So after about 15 members, I went to several of my friends and forced them by saying, you either join something good that I'm doing for Pune without being a beneficiary, just pay as a donor, and whether you attend meetings or not, I need this money and I need your name to be there. Or you attend, join, you're welcome, or your son or daughter or employee can join, anything is okay, but I need 20 members. And many of them paid. About last 4 or 5 members were in this manner. I influenced them, or you may call a different word for that, force them or whatever, but I influenced 4 or 5 people to pay as donors in this manner. And that's how we started the first club with 20 members. Once we had the first club, then other clubs we added members to this club and split and form, so it was easy. So the biggest hurdle was that.
So, in all these years, this is out of the blue. Do you recall which is the funniest meeting that you recall from all these meetings?
So we had a reverse meeting, we had meetings where the theme was football or cricket and we had everything aligned to that. So these meetings had more fun because of entire meeting. So even we carried a football. I was the Toastmaster today, and instead of shake hand, I kicked the ball to the next person, and he collected that ball and then kept it aside and spoke. So we had such thing for language. The theme meeting with cricket. Instead of thumbs up, we did this sixer side. So we had such innovation in our meetings where.
So you traveled many countries, right? How many countries as well? Right? We know that Toastmaster has a structure in the meetings and all, but there would be some cultural variant in different countries, right? What is something that you felt very interesting in some of the countries, some of the culture in their meeting that you think that, no, if not exactly same, but similar of that, if we can introduce here, that would be very good. So anything of that sort, couple of things.
Right. So as I mentioned, when I was all India head, I used to travel all over the country. I attended meetings in Bangalore, Chennai, Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Jaipur, Visakhapatnam, so many cities, and everywhere I gave whatever I knew to them, and I picked up whatever they knew as well. So whenever I learned something new, we in the English, Marathi, and so on, which are very much in the English, Marathi, and so on, which are very much for our club. That is one thing which we tried. Then, as I said, theme meetings we brought in and tried. Then in some clubs, the agenda was designed differently for such theme meetings. So we brought in that as well, and we designed our agenda. The colors of the cards, we put those colors prominently. We put on the agenda itself, and so on. And for other things, we learned where table topics, for example, we learned new techniques. I was in Sri Lanka after Prabhakaran was killed. Immediately, we had a conference there, and I traveled for the next 15 days and wrote about how things are unfolding in Sri Lanka in Pune's Marathi newspaper Sakal. And that time I learned in one club meeting how a round robin is conducted. So we brought in that here later on. Then in Singapore, I had learned about PMI teams and give them one side only thinks of positives which will come out of this, one will think of only negatives, and the third side will think of only the interesting part in it. Then you shuffle, PMI becomes MI3, then becomes I, PM, and so on. 3 questions, every team thinks one question positive, one question negative, one question interesting, and they come up with many options. So this teaches constructive thinking to people. Creative thinking is very logical thinking where you think only positive out of one question, you think only negative out of one question. This gives you structured thinking, and we brought that in here as well. We did that in some meetings. So these were some innovations we brought in, which worked. We have a reverse meeting as well, where we start with the general evaluator, and whatever he says, people behave that way. Okay, then we have speech evaluations where the evaluator says, you did not have good body language, so then the speaker cannot have good body language. And then the timer gives your timing as 4 minutes 15 seconds, so you speak for exactly 4 minutes 15 seconds. Okay, so that is called a reverse meeting. But it's an advanced option. We shouldn't try it when people are too new in the moment. But maybe those who are 1 year or above in Toastmasters, we can try that meeting someday.
Many things have been evolved from learning from many different places, right? So current format, right?
Yeah.
You saying like it has been evolved by learning from many different.
Even our format that we use is widely used in Singapore and many other countries where we have the speakers followed by table topics and then evaluations. Evaluation and then table topics, and then the general evaluator comes in the end. In some places they have the general evaluator who plays the second half entirely. So there is nothing right, nothing wrong. Both options are perfectly fine. You can have any option as long as the evaluators give feedback after the speech. That's the only condition. Otherwise, everything else is okay.
So is there any, in our current meeting format, so we have the SAA first, then the Toastmasters meeting, and then the following role play. So is there any change you would want to make in this
Not
meeting
necessarily.
format?
The format is running fine, so there is no need to change anything. You can alter probably our table topics first and give more topics and more time to people or something like that. That's the only thing you can probably. Having more topics and more time for table topics is one variation we can try.
So recently you announced that we are going to open a rebellion club for the underprivileged children. Would you like to share something about that and how it came to your mind and what is the thought process behind it and what that initiative is, so that everyone is aware?
So we as adults are learning here, but even our kids need to learn public speaking or oratory or communication skills. And we are fortunate that we can afford to pay whatever fee the club charges and so on. But there are several less fortunate people who cannot even get proper meal every day. So leave alone fees such as this. So there are poor boys schools where the students struggle for many things. They don't even know their syllabus too well. You go to 8th standard and you ask them some questions of 2nd standard, they won't know. This is a fact. Whatever the government data is released about literacy and all that, that might be doctored data probably, because people really don't learn languages so well. Some people only sign their own autograph signature and they are called as literate. The ground reality is different. We go to a poor boys school, the students of 7th, 8th standard are equal to 2nd standard of people like us. Okay, your children, if you are studying in 2nd standard, those kids of 7th or 8th standard will be equivalent to that. So we have to teach them, and I felt the need for that, and we approached the school where my Rotary Club used to do several projects where we used to mainly fund their fees because their parents cannot even afford to pay fees. They are slum dwellers, their mothers are working as maids mostly, and fathers are either drunkards or dead, or they work in small time jobs such as painter, where they get work maybe 5 days a month, 10 days a month, and they earn enough for a day and drink after that, and again the family struggles because of that. So for such less fortunate people, if we start training in communication, good in two ways. One is they learn something, then they see us and they connect with us. They look at us as a role model, and you tell them, read this book, watch this film, go to this speech, or I'll take you all together to a speech, and we even may buy clothes for them if that is the need. And we bring them up, we mentor them. We just don't leave them up by teaching a couple of public speaking classes. We mentor them throughout the next 3-4 years. Let's say we get those kids in 7th, 8th standard. We help them till they complete 10th, and then they will probably work as carpenters, plumbers, or something like that. If they require, we help them counseling and then getting that right thing for them. So for this, we should work so that it helps our society. And then this thought came up, and there is a Gavels Club which you can set up in such a poor boys school. It doesn't cost a lot initially, and every year only $50, not per head, for the entire club. So we can afford that easily. But what is a bigger commitment is some of us going to such a school and spending 1 or 2 hours every week. So it need not be that you go there every week. Different persons can go. It need not be that you spend 2 hours, 3 hours, just 1 hour per week, per fortnight, whatever you can give. And if 10, 15 of us can spend such time, it will be great, because then you manage one semester with them in this manner. A different set of people can go for the next semester and so on. And we should take, will not leave, will continue. And if you do that for 3-4 years, you will see the transformation. Till then, you will not see any transformation. You will be frustrated because these kids will not want this. Their parents may not understand what this is. The teachers themselves may not understand the significance. But we know it. So we work hard on that. And if we spend 3-4 years like this and do this regularly, this will be great contribution to society. So that's why I thought of launching this Gavins Club for poor boys, where we will fund it entirely and teach them. And as a byproduct of that, we can start something such as elocution competition for entire Pune, where we get funding for that, and funding meaning we charge them fees, and not that we earn money, we charge fees for running the event and pay our judges appreciation, and we do social work as well as we reward excellence. That is the idea. If others who are here are interested in such a role, please let us know. It's in the heart of the city, the school, and you can go there on Saturday morning, maybe 11 to 12 or something like that. That club as well. Yes,
people would be, somebody would be interviewing, and
I may not be there. Maybe somebody else will be there. Who knows?
You'll be there 100%.
So my next question would be, over the past 30 years, so for the people who don't know, last year I think you did celebrate your 30 years in Toastmasters. So how has Toastmasters helped you, and how has it changed the way you think? If Toastmasters was not there, what would you be doing?
So thinking wise, I was a good thinker even earlier. I was a logical thinker. I was a creative thinker, both. But what Toastmasters brought in me is the discipline and consistency, where you do some act repeatedly, even while making some mistakes, but you keep doing things over a sustainable period, and that leads to tremendous results. So the curve is exponential. Many people give up early. They don't realize that it's an exponential curve. So it goes like this, if you know exponential curve. Okay? So people give up too early. Toastmasters taught me this rigidness, this persistence, where you keep on trying something and keep on doing things in a sustained manner. That was the biggest takeaway for me. And I was in Singapore, where I learned a lot from Lee to the status of an excellent economic superpower house country today, affluent nation. So many things we tried were done first over a smaller location, smaller time as a trial, and when it succeeded, then they implemented it nationwide. Wherever they found the loophole, they plugged that. So even we have many rules where the rules were not there in the beginning. We plugged the loopholes, and we have the current set of rules for running our club. So we learned from that. And that is how these things have been.
Let's move on to the next segment. We have a few questions for you. So you just have to answer in a single word for few questions.
Okay. No politically incorrect statement. I am a married man.
My first question would be, you have watched a lot of movies and you do write brilliant speeches. If you ever thought of writing a movie, what would its title be?
I am writing a movie actually, and title is submitted to the Authors Association or whatever Script Writers Association for submit their getting registered, and then go and meet film producers and directors. I'm keeping it secret, but you forced me to come out with that answer.
Well, maybe all of us can do it for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you rather be a language evaluator or an accountant?
Language evaluator. I believe I can add more value there.
Okay. If you could describe Toastmasters Club of Pune in one word, what would it be?
Consistency.
If TMCP were the Avengers,
Sorry?
if TMCP were the Avengers,
I have not got that.
so maybe the audience can answer this. If Toastmasters Club of Pune were the Avengers, Which Avenger would DTM Prasad sir be?
Thanos.
I have not watched Harry Potter, then I would be a Gryffindor.
Okay.
I know that because of the qualities of Gryffindor. Gryffindors go and do succeed. So I would be a Gryffindor.
Okay. With that, we come to the
But
next.
before joining Toastmasters, I was the Huff and Puff. I was more logical and structured and so on, only without the risk-taking ability.
There is a Wizarding World quiz. Have you taken that?
That was, and they will give
which,
it. No.
which comes here. So with that, we come to the next question. Who would be a better Toastmaster of the day? Harry Potter or Voldemort?
Harry Potter.
Okay.
Next 18 years, what do you see? Like, what will be the path? What is the reason for Toastmasters for the next 18 years? And at the end of 18 years, what do you see that Toastmasters, would it be doing same thing, or would it be something more, or whatever comes to your mind?
So just as in every single field, there is technology which is coming in. So people thought that Toastmasters will not be an organization in 2035. Some people had told me that this will be non-existent because of technology. People won't need to talk in person. They will just have meetings over Skype. In those days, Skype was popular. 20 years back, people were saying things like that. But that hasn't happened. In COVID, we had offline meetings shifted to entirely online meetings, and people came back to offline meetings after that. So communication is a need which will stay for the rest of our lives. At least our lives, it will stay. Whoever the youngest person here might be 18, let's say today, for another 50, 60 years, communication is the need of the world, it will stay. Okay, so Toastmasters movement will continue in this manner, but they may get more competitors. There could be somebody else who will start. If Trump continues this stupidity, maybe some Indian will start some that and a stronger competitor for Toastmasters. That could carry things because there is a need and that will stay. And for our club should just continue doing things the way we have been, continue this legacy. And what I want to happen, I would rather want to happen, are things such as maybe we should produce a world champion, maybe we should produce more champions, maybe more members of our club who should run for the officers' roles such as club director, program quality director, and district director. We have Nagappan, Umesh, Rabin here, who are very much qualified in this span. And formed many clubs earlier by splitting ourselves. So it's time to in different parts of the city which were not known that time. We had a goal of 15 clubs in different parts of the city because that time Pune was beyond that. So I'm sure there are more locations where we need more clubs and we should think of those today. Plus, there could be other options such as a Marathi club, which is a strong club. Current Marathi club is not so strong. So we can create a Marathi club here somewhere which is strong. Maybe a Hindi club. Maybe Pune has a lot of people who speak multiple languages. I have studied at Ranade Institute German, French, Spanish, Japanese, Russian. So these 5 clubs are very much on the cards. How many people were there in your class when you studied Japanese?
40.
40, correct. So every year, thousands of students in Pune learn these 5 languages. It may not be Russian now, but German, French, Spanish, Japanese, these 4 clubs are very much on the card. Clubs in Pune, and we collaborate with clubs in respective countries of their language. Those could be good alliances for us.
What would be the one advice to all of these people who are watching you, so that they can take that as an input and become a world champion?
So again, world champion, there is only one world champion every year. So you can't say if I give input, people will become world champion, but I can talk about excellence. So practice your speech several times, put in your heart when you are preparing the speech. Write the script several times. Write means type. Even I don't write script anymore, I type it in the computer. But whatever you do, take efforts on polishing your script first without using ChatGPT or any of the AI tools. Write it on your own. If you want just refinement of 1 or 2 sentences, you can check with AI tools. But otherwise, write an original speech, rehearse it several times, As I told earlier, Ed Ted, the world champion of public speaking for the year 2000, told me he delivered the speech which won him the final, and that speech was written 169 times. Of course, there was no AI at that time, so he wrote entirely each time himself, and each one was polished by showing it to somebody, delivering in some club, getting some feedback, and then changing. So that version that he delivered in the final was 169th version, and that makes us think seriously: are we putting in enough efforts? Okay, how many of you have written your script 10 times or more? Okay, two. These two are stalwart BTMs, but new members none. Okay, so we have to take efforts like that. Then I asked him how many times did he rehearse, and he had rehearsed that speech more than 1,000 times. So that is the kind of perfection people try to aim for when you want to become world champion. Let's not think of world championship, let's think of excellence. Whenever we speak, are we using the correct words? Are we giving a good quality speech which pleases our own mind? First of all that. And then it pleases others, and people invite you to many places just to deliver a talk, just to give a speech. So if you focus on that and try for excellence, you will automatically become a good speaker. You don't have to worry about anything. Put in efforts, put in your heart in that. Do research, solid research for your topic.
With that, we'll come to the closing club. I think the timer is on the screen.
Let's screen. So we have
have
9 more.
So maybe audience, if anyone have any question, I think it's a opportunity. Anything that you may want to ask.
Maybe more so the guests who
Yeah.
come today.
What was your oh my god moment on stage? Anytime you felt awkward, like what this, I was not prepared for this, and some surprising thing happened.
There is no surprise, like, because I was always I have okay. First, let me give a clarifying statement. I have a fabulous memory. So when I deliver a speech, I don't forget words in my speech. Okay, whatever speech I prepare, I'm able to deliver that. So there are no hiccups of that sort. It could be that some of the speeches were not understood by people, where you deliver a speech and people either misinterpret that or don't understand. So there was no oh my G moment. But there are some days which I remember those speeches where once there was a tall tales contest in which you had also participated in 2016, and I gave a speech as a speaker number 6, I think, in a contest of 16. But at the end of my speech, I knew that I have won it, that there is no way I will lose this particular contest. So that was one speech which was memorable, I remember. In another contest, I delivered a speech about what would you do if you were to get an insane amount of money. So again, I gave a fabulous speech that day. I did not win that day. That was one moment which Rabin knows where I felt extremely distraught that somebody who had given such an excellent speech, how can that person not win? So there could be a bias among judges. There could be something else. I don't know the reason for losing that day. I didn't lose, I still went to the next round, but that was one speech which was memorable for me. I still remember what I had said that day specifically. I've written it down and I'm going to implement those things.
And just one connecting to the same thing. Any memory of an unexpected reaction from audience?
So I have given some speeches which were really bold for India. Those speeches were received quite well in Singapore, but not so well in India. So that can be one recent example you all know. So the Indian market is still not mature for that, and we still have people who have conservative mindset. So I shouldn't talk about such subjects in India. That's a lesson I've learned. Yeah.
I have a question that what are your expectations, or what is that one goal that you want to see Toastmasters of Club of Pune to achieve in the next term or the next 2 years? Like one aim or one goal.
So one thing which we can try, it's not too hard work, it's just structured work. We have 40 members. Can we aim that each one of these 40 members earns one path? That is 3 speeches, and everyone completes one path, and we log in that. So it's not in one level, not path, one level. So everyone completes one level of one path, whatever path they want, whatever path they have chosen. If everyone does that, that is just 3 or 4 speeches per level. If 40 times 4 is 160, and we definitely have more speeches than that. Can we plan that together? We all will work together on this. Okay? Can we take that as a goal and achieve that? Everyone grows in this manner. It's not that Prasad Soni gives 5 levels and completes one path, and Nagapan and Ravi complete paths, and some members don't even give one speech. It's everyone who completes one level. Can we do that?
Yes. Yes.
So let's plan that. For that, of course, everyone has to attend all the meetings, and then this is possible. And it will be a structured manner in which we'll do this. Okay. Current VP, do you agree with this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was in sales, so every day we used to on calls and get rejection from some customers and come back, and we celebrate whatever we get. So even if you make 10 calls and get one deal, that is considered excellent in sales. So I had no such comps. I didn't have any worries about losing in the speech context. I just considered, okay, next year, and next for 34 years. Yes, he did not. Then he reached the World Championship final 4 times. The first 3 times he had given fabulous speech, he did not win. 4th time, there was somebody who had given even better speech than him, but that person was timed out and this guy won. So in a way, when you put in efforts, even the destiny helps you in some manner or the other. And hard work and consistency have no substitute. So then you beat excellence in this manner. Or raw talent, you beat in this manner. Just pray.
What is, you mentioned that you have very good memory. How do you manage? Because normally when we prepare a speech and when we come to the stage, we're looking at the audience, we may forget the first opening sentence or maybe one interview. Do you do anything specific like which
So I follow a diamond structure. Diamond doesn't mean the diamond that you see in films and you write your speech in a logical manner in 3 points. Then you expand that. Okay. Then you add examples to that, further expansion. Then while remembering, you go on producing, and finally remember just start. If you go in this diamond manner, you will speech with 3 points, which will be there with you, but you may change words. That doesn't matter. Some words, and I use that 3 points. I will never forget. You start with that. You start with a structure, which is easy for you to remember. Then you expand on that. Then you won't forget. Yeah. Here. The question first.
For example, if I'm in Mumbai or if I'm elsewhere in other
Anywhere in the world, as long as you friends, you say that your why won't members be allowed? So you can attend meetings anywhere in the world. There are some clubs in the world which have compulsory food there, and then they make you pay for that. But most clubs don't. So you say that I'm not going to have dinner with you. I'm just attending meeting. They will allow you.
So you had a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
How Toastmaster has helped you personally and professionally?
Okay. So, as I said, I was a salesperson earlier, and I was in trading in Singapore, in buying and selling various products. So we dealt in some 30-40 products that time and services. And I was not a trainer then. But because of Toastmasters, I became a good orator, good communicator, and then I became a trainer. So it has helped me personally become a trainer and communicate even at your home, in your office, by talking to your colleagues, your seniors, juniors, your clients, your vendors, everywhere. So you become a good communicator everywhere.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.